All right, so I want to welcome everyone. Like I said, it's important to know your why. You know why you're here is important. That is the guiding light for everything we're going to do today. When you know the reason why you're here, then you will pay attention based and look at the things that you want to see or you want to hear or the transformation that you want to experience. So I'd like to commit this moment into the hands of the Almighty God, and that He will guide us, He will lead us, and everything that we are here to seek, we will find. And I also pray that the network will be favorable for every one of us. And at the end of the day, you will leave here refreshed, you will leave here empowered, you will leave here fulfilled, and you will leave here a better version of yourself so that you can lead others and those in your circle of influence. So thank you very much for joining us. My name is Mute Olori. Um, I'm a John Maxwell certified coach, speaker, mentor, and of course, trainer. I joined the John Maxwell team in 2018 with the singular purpose of growing myself. I was in a position where I was lost. I was feeling very unfulfilled in my workplace. Life generally was full with a lot of challenge. So I was at that point where I didn't know my left from my right. I lost myself. And when I talk about losing myself, many of you may not understand. I don't know if you've ever been in that position where you just know that you're living, but you're not existing. When you get to that point where you feel like, yes, I'm here, but there's so much more about me. So where am I? Where is that person God created? What am I created to achieve? Yes, I was in the circle in media. I knew my calling from on time. So I went to the University of Jos, and I studied theater arts. And after graduation, I found myself in the media space in broadcasting. I was living my life. And then at a point, I got promoted and I had to work with my boss, who is the founder of Dow Communications, the owners of AIT and Ray Power in Nigeria, the first, private station, 24 hours in Africa. Good. I was working with him and I started working with him in the year 2002, directly as his personal assistant, special duties, where we were all over Nigeria campaigning and advocating for a South-South person. So I got myself involved not only in media, but I did a bit of politics because I was in the political space, organizing presidential campaigns. I worked in the Peter Odili campaign. I worked in the South People's Assembly advocacy. I worked with the IBB campaign. And so every campaign in Nigeria that my boss had to go to, I found myself in that space working with the who is who in Nigeria. And it got to a point that I was so lost in helping to achieve someone else's vision that I could not find my dreams, my goals, and my vision. I got lost. And so in 2017, it was so bad that I got to a point in my life, a down point. Yes, I was working in a space, but I wasn't finding fulfillment. And what hits me, when that point hits me was when the Naira moved from 150 Naira to 500 Naira a dollar. That period, my daughter was in her 5th year, going to her 5th year in medical school in the United States of America. I couldn't pay school fees because the sudden change affected us financially. At that point in my life, even the money we had saved for house rent, we had to put everything to meet up with the same amount of money we used to pay, but this time we needed more Naira to achieve it. So it was really a big problem for all of us. And when she was done with her 4th year, I couldn't meet up with the fees. My daughter had to drop out of school. If I know what I know now, I would have been better prepared for every situation in life. And probably I would have had the right attitude to handle the issues when they came. And so I got frustrated. I resigned from my job. My daughter came back home after going through depression for 1 year. Because how can you expect a fifth as a young lady who has gotten to the point of her clinicals in medical school had to drop out. And that was when, while seeking the face of God, one day I came across the John Maxwell team. I looked at it and I said, I've seen a lot of programs like that, but many of them are motivational programs, motivational speakers and all that. But something was different about this. There was something spiritual. There was something that was not only feeding me as a physical person, was also feeding my inner man, my spirit man, was helping me to discover who I am in all areas of my life. And that was how my journey of transformation started in 2018. It cost me a lot of money, but I was ready to go into it, to find me. And I pray that when you go through this 6 weeks program, you'll be able to find you more. Like someone said, I'm here to discover me. And I pray you'll be able to. The minute I discovered myself in 2018, I became a different person. I was able to sit down with my daughter. We were able to have this conversation. We changed her school to Europe. She lost 2 years already, but today she's a certified medical doctor. It was a transition process in our lives, but today we were able to overcome. And when I speak with people, I'm able to tell you, I'm able to encourage you, I'm able to tell you, how to connect with your child to come to an alignment and agreement, even when it has to do with their destiny. So I'm happy, I'm glad that you took this chance. And I pray that you will find you. And when you find you, you will help others to find themselves. All right. So quickly, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm in a better place now, a better place with my emotion, a better place with my personality. Things don't move me, don't shake me anymore because I know exactly what to do when the situations come in life. Life will definitely hit you, but you need to be in a better place to be able to handle those things when they come. So thank you very much. All right, so I'll just take 1 or 2 persons to tell us exactly if you want to share 1 or 2 moments that you have gone through and you think you're here because you want to find you, please. I would like 1 or 2 persons to raise their hands so that we can share together this moment, if you don't mind, please. All right, so I would like to take 1 or 2 persons at this point who would like to share with us. Anyone? Yeah, just unmute yourself if you want to share with us, please. I want you to know that we have to be very vulnerable here. If you're not vulnerable, trust me, you will not be able to build the confidence that you need. So vulnerability helps us to lift whatever ways we're feeling. All right, so who would like to share where you are now and where you think at the end of the day you want to be when we are done with the 6 weeks program? I just want to take 2 persons. Any 2? Anybody? Anybody who wants to share? All right, just raise your hand and I'll mute you, or you unmute yourself to speak. Anyone? All right, Stella, you want to speak?
Yes.
Please go ahead, Madam Stella. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My younger sister actually introduced me to this just last week. And when I read through what she sent to me, I quickly jumped into it because I know that personally, I could say I have done well, but I believe there are a lot of things I could improve in my life. And why did I say I've done well? I have passed through a lot of some experiences that my immediate family, I mean, my husband, my children, will be able to tell me, you have a special grace and you can pass through this and you still be you. I thank God for that. And I have joy in sharing my experiences with others. And I find out that God has helped me, and I believe He has a gift He has put in me. I've had some stunning experiences. I could get into the market, meeting a woman and buying something from I have never known from anywhere. He would just walk to me and say, as I see you, I feel I should tell you what I'm passing through. I don't know you, but I think you have something that will benefit me. Please come, let me talk to you. So because of that, I kept working on myself. I've had that experience several times at odd places, in a business center, in a banking hall. Somebody walks up to me and say, I want to talk to you about what I'm passing through. And that has always been a connecting point, and so many other people. And it surprises me. I don't know these people. What did they see? So it was, what started making me to consciously want to develop myself.
Fantastic.
And when I saw what my younger sister sent to me, I quickly jumped into it. I said, I am going to be better than what I have. The gift that is in me, even if it is silent, this training, I'm expecting it to be reactivated and be put on fire.
I pray that we will be able to achieve that when we leave here at the end of 6 weeks. Thank you so much for sharing. You can never be above the level of your growth or the level of your spirituality or the level of your understanding. And that is the truth. So the more you keep growing yourself, keep expanding. You are like a sponge. The more you keep pouring water, the sponge will keep expanding. And so I hope that is what we'll achieve, not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please let's show Stella some love. Thank you so much. All right, I will take the next person. Paul, please go ahead. You're muted already.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. We can hear you.
My name is Rikwa. I'm speaking from Abuja.
Welcome.
Someone in my church, Fumi Layo Ugu, introduced me to this platform. And when she was telling me about it, I've had a lot about John Maxwell, and I know that some of its contents are always very motivational. So when we started, she discussed with me on it, and I told her I would love to be on my own. I'm the one that even told her I would want to be part of this, because actually I'm looking for how to grow myself, being able to build my self-confidence back. And why building back my self-confidence, I grew up with my auntie, and while growing up as a child, you only need to tell me something and I'll start talking, and I'll talk confidently on topics that I have never even known. It will just be flowing. Living with my auntie, at times she would talk down on me, and this thing kept affecting me to the extent that I could not even face a crowd anymore. I could hardly stand before people to express myself. My self-confidence was gone. And when I observed that, I went into depression. I knew what I was growing up with. I know myself. I know that where God was taking me to. So I knew I had to start praying and build my self-confidence back, even after I left my auntie's house. By God's grace, God has been working on me. In fact, there was a time I had to go and start looking for motivational speakers where I could be attending classes with them. So just to build back my self-confidence. But
Thank
I
you so
thank
much
God,
for
I never
sharing.
had one, but God had been so faithful. At least I am
Now
not the
you
way
have one.
I'm
Thank you.
not the way I was when I left my auntie's place. And I
Mm.
know that through this program now, I will I will never remain the same.
Amen.
Thank
And
you very
truly,
much.
you will never remain the same. If
Thank
I
you
can
very much.
go through it, and today I have my voice, you will definitely find your voice, and the world will hear you. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. We'll quickly dive into hearing John Maxwell speak with us this evening, and he's going to be talking to us about the value of attitude, how attitude can influence and impact your life, and what attitude can do to transform you. Don't forget, attitude is the way you see yourself, the way others see you, and the way you see others. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome my coach, my trainer, my friend, John C. Maxwell. Please.
I'm excited about the opportunity ahead for you to learn, to interact, to take action, to grow. And today's session is on attitude. And I have a question for you. What determines in your life when you have a good day or a good week or a good year? I mean, what is it that kind of gauges that it was something good that was happening to you? Well, I can guarantee you it's not your circumstances and it's not your finances. I know a lot of people who are poor but very happy and have a great attitude. I know a lot of people that are rich and are really miserable. You don't even want to really be around them. And I can tell you that it's not the people around you that truly make you happy. My wife Margaret and I several years ago were doing a conference and we were in a Q&A period, and one of the ladies looked at Margaret and asked her the question, does John make you happy? I'll never forget her response. She looked immediately back at the lady and said, no, he doesn't make me happy. And I looked at Margaret and I said, kind of explain yourself. Now, I don't know if you've ever asked somebody to explain themselves, but if you have, sometimes when they do that, when they explain themselves, you wish you really wouldn't have asked them to explain themselves. And as soon as I said, Margaret, explain yourself to the audience here, she said, I realized in the first 6 months that John would never make me happy. And you can tell we're not going the right way. We're going downhill kind of fast. And then she said, because for the first 6 months of our marriage, that's exactly what I expected him to do, make me happy. I was teaching in school, and he was in his first pastorate, and I'd come home from school and say, we'll have dinner together, and he'd call me from the hospital, and somebody had a wreck, and he wasn't going to be able to come home for dinner, or I was coming home, and I was having to grade papers, and stuff just kept getting in the way, and I kept saying, he'll make me happy, he'll make me happy, he'll make me happy. And then about 6 months into the marriage, she said, I one day awakened myself and realized the only person that could make me happy is me. And then she said, the moment that I determined that it was my responsibility to make me happy, it was my responsibility to have the right attitude about me, she then looked at me and smiled and said, and John has added immeasurably to my happiness. That was close, wasn't it? What Margaret was saying is what I want every one of us to understand, and that is that the only person that can control your attitude is you. You're in total control of it. And the world that you see right now is colored by the attitude that you have. And I tell people all the time, and this is exciting to me to share this with you. The fastest way for you to change your life is to change your attitude. I think all of us have times in our life where we say, boy, I need to make a change in it. And when people come to me and talk to me about that, I look at them and I smile and I say, the biggest and the quickest way to change your entire life is to change the attitude you have. And I call my attitude the difference maker. And what I mean by that is the fact that attitude isn't everything, but it's the main thing. It's the thing that allows us to change the way we see others and the way we see ourselves. And when I talk about the fact that it's not everything, please understand, there are people who will tell you that everything is attitude, but it's not. I mean, attitude won't make up for incompetence. If you're incompetent, it's not going to help you keep your job just because you have a good attitude. I guess the good news is when you get fired, you'll still be happy. I don't know, but it isn't going to make up for it isn't going to make up for the lack of experience that you have in your life. But attitude is the one thing in your life that when you're close, it's going to put you over the top. I mean, just think about it for a moment. If you're going to hire two people and both of them had great experience, both of them had great skill level, but one had a great attitude, one had a poor attitude, who are you going to hire? You're going to hire the person with a good attitude. It was the difference maker. It gives you that positive edge in your life if it's a good attitude. Now, the great news that I have for you is that your attitude and my attitude is a choice. And you and I are responsible for that choice. And to be honest with you, I run into a lot of adults, they don't understand that. Somehow they think that the attitude that they have right now was given to them by someone else. Well, if you had my boss, you wouldn't like your job, you'd have a bad attitude. Or you lived with my spouse, you wouldn't have a good attitude. People don't give you a bad attitude. You give it to yourself and you're responsible for it. When I was a little child, my favorite story as a little kid was The Little Engine That Could. And it was all about this little engine that had to climb a big hill, and no one thought that engine had a chance, that little train, to get up to the top. But that little guy says, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. He's going chugging up that hill as good as he can, and after much effort and perseverance and some time, he gets to the top, and I thought I could. I thought I could. And as a little kid, I would just tell that story and read that story all the time, because I understood that within that story was an attitude that was a difference maker. So as I have studied successful people, they have 5 attitude traits that really do make up the difference in their life. One is they're just plain positive. What I mean by that is that they see things in a better perspective, in a better way, in a better light. And they say things in a better perspective, in a better way, in a better light than anyone else. I grew up in a home that was filled with positive attitude. My father, who is still alive at 95 and is still positive in life. It's amazing. I saw him the other day. He had a fall. He broke 6 ribs, went into some major rehab. And so I visited him during those times, but he was able finally to go to lunch with me, so I took him out to lunch. He's got his walker. He's sitting down across the table from me. And he's saying, John, I'm right now still in rehab. I've still got to have 24-hour care. But he leaned forward to me. He didn't want me to miss this. He said, I've got my walker here. And he said, what I want you to know, John, more than anything else is, I'm happy. And I looked at my father and I said to myself, his name's Melvin. I always want to be like Melvin. In spite of 24-hour care, 6 ribs broken, at the age of 95, he's still happy. You see, your attitude will control everything of how you see things and see life and see people and see yourself. Another trait of people that have really a good attitude is they're teachable. In my book, Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn, I talk about a teachable spirit, which basically is a spirit of wanting to learn. A person that's teachable is always hungry, wants to learn. And so therefore, they're always ready to learn from anybody they're around, any situation, any experience. They have a teachable spirit. Thirdly, people with great attitudes are solution-focused. You tell me and show me a person with the right kind of an attitude, and here's what they know. there's always an answer. There's an answer. And they're going to find it, and they're going to figure it out. And they don't have it now, and that's okay, because they still believe there's always an answer. And that belief of always an answer allows them to be persistent and overcome obstacles and barriers. And they find opportunity, because what I discovered many times is that surrounding opportunity is all kind of problems and obstacles. Opportunity never stands alone with welcome arms saying, there's nothing to pay here, there's nothing to do here, just come, it's easy for you. There's always a price to pay and a barrier to climb over. Number 4, people with a great attitude are persistent. What I mean by that is the fact that they're never down. They're either up or they're getting up. What that means is they get knocked down, but they don't stay down. They're always ready to rise up and meet another day with a good attitude. And finally, I think that people with great attitude are grateful. They have what I call an attitude of gratitude. And what I mean by that is very simple, that they realize that God is their source, and that the things that they have in life are a blessing to them, and they look at them as a blessing. When our grandchildren were really small, we did a little Thanksgiving program, and my little grandson, John, his part of the Thanksgiving program was to memorize some stuff on attitude and on gratitude and how he was grateful at Thanksgiving. He had 3 or 4 lines, and he was trying to get it, but he wasn't getting it really good, and finally came to me and said, Papa, he said, this gratitude stuff is exhausting. It's just exhausting. It's hard for me to know all this stuff. Well, it may be exhausting, but it's the only way to live, because it's the way for us to understand that every good and perfect gift comes from God and from others around us. You see, we cannot control our circumstances, but we can control our choices. And I would encourage you today, right now, at this moment, choose a positive attitude, because it's a difference maker. It's a difference maker for you. It's a difference maker for me. It's a difference maker for every person that's with you today at your round table. So now let's just take a moment and see what's coming up. You see, after each lesson, there will be a round table on that day's subject. For example, I just taught you on attitude, and so you're going to go into a round table where you're going to talk about attitude. And I want you to talk honestly about yourself. You're among friends, just, the good, the bad. Here's where my attitude really is good. Here's where my attitude's really bad. And as you're sitting in that round table, listen to others, because every person at that table has something that they're going to teach you. You're going to learn from each other and from each other's experiences. And as you're listening and as you're learning, I want you to choose what you're going to apply. What fits for my life? What do I need to take away from this round table discussion? And most important, take action. Because that's where change occurs. Change doesn't occur when I think about it or even when I talk about it. It's when I do it. All transformation is a result of action. So that's where change occurs. So be sure that at the end of the round table, there's something that you're going to do immediately that'll make your life a little bit better in this area of attitude. So enjoy today's round table.
All right. Thank you very much, John C. Maxwell, for you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, 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 wow. Are you excited? Did you learn anything today? Did you hear something different? Please. I would like us to share what was it that you heard, I heard that you can, with attitude, if you cannot control your situation, you can control the way you act, the way you react to certain situations. Wow, lots of wisdom there. All right, so who would like to share? I need 2 people to share with us what they have heard, what they learned, what resonated with them, or something that you've always thought that, this is how it is, but today you've learned something different. All right, I see 1 hand up. I need 2 more hands. George, thank you. Say that's a great one on attitude. Thank you, George. Thank you. You were not around when I don't know if you were around when I shared my own story, but if I had the right attitude, maybe I would have looked at some things differently. But I thank God that I was able to find you know, this platform on time. And at that moment in my life, I was able to help and guide my children, my daughter especially, through a season of depression, through a season where of confusion, not knowing what to do. And we both came out stronger, and my whole family came out stronger. And so it's all because we were able to get the right attitude to look at the situation and said, what is God saying? What can we do differently? All right, so Nkoyo, your hand was up. Who else would like to share with us before we go further? Any other person would like to share with us, please? All right, Nkoyo, you can unmute yourself. I hope you wrote some things down. I just wanted to share with me what you wrote down. All right. Who's going to share with us?
Okay. Good evening once again.
All right. After, so you just make it 30 seconds, and then George, and after George, Stella Umba. All right. We'll take it in that order. Thank you. All right. Go ahead.
Specifically, what jumped at me when he was talking was when he said that nobody controls your happiness. And when he shared the story of his wife, when somebody asked him asks her what makes you happy. So it is very, very significant that you don't allow what other people do to influence your output in life. That's what I pick.
Powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. And when I heard that also, I made sure that my happiness was in my hand, not other people. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Thank
Who
you.
else want to share? George, it's your turn. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, George.
From what I got, the first and most important thing is believing in yourself. So from what he said, the fastest way to change your life, your entire being, or to change from where you are to the next stage is to first of all change your attitude. So once you change your attitude, then you are good to go. When you have a positive attitude, because I believe there's also a negative attitude. So when you have a positive attitude, you're always you will always have the right answer. You will be approachable, and you can never say no. You are persistent. That is what you said, persistent. You are always striving for the better version of you. So I think I picked a lot from here, and that's very beautiful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. As we go on, we'll find out that no is an asset. Okay? No is an asset. But as we go on, we'll get to learn that. Thank you very much, George. All right. The last person is Stella, so that we can go on. Stella, please unmute yourself and share with us. Thank you, Stella Umba. Thank you. Please go ahead. Stella, can you unmute yourself? Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
Thank you. The attitude is a choice. And what comes out of that choice is solely what we get because of the attitude. And one of the positive attitudes is being teachable, willing to learn from anybody and all situations, circumstances around us. I think when we have that positive mind, that everything that happens to us, we can learn something from there and change, make a change. Another thing that hits me is that we can learn everything about attitude, but if I don't take an action, I will remain where I am.
Fantastic. Thank you. And that is why when you leave here today before our next class, you're going to be sharing with us some of the steps you would intentionally take, you know, when it comes to your attitude. Thank you so much. Many of us have always heard this word, Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But John Maxwell said no. When you have the right attitude, you say sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. You don't lose, you learn. And you can only go forward in life when you learn from every circumstances that happens in your life, whether positive or negative. All right. So what are the steps we need to take to be able to build our attitude? What are the steps we need to take to build our attitude? All right. So I'm going to call on a few of us to kindly read for us because it's an interactive class. So I'll call on Abibola. Abibola, if you can see my screen, I want you to read for us number 1, step that we can follow to build our attitude. Please go ahead. Abibola, please go ahead and read for us. All right. Okay, Stella, go ahead if you can see the screen. Stella Okorigo, please go ahead and read for us.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk to
Number
yourself.
1 says, okay. Number 1 says, talk to yourself. The most important person to listen to is yourself. What you tell yourself about your situation is either an anchor that holds you back or a sail that propels you forward. Choose to think positive thoughts. When negative thoughts arise, respond to them with positivity. Tell yourself something positive in response. Don't let the negative voices inside your mind influence you to see things negatively. Immediately find the positive in the situation before moving forward. Remember, you can choose what you think.
While you're observing that, don't let the negative voices inside your mind influence you to see things negatively. It took me a long time to have that power to be able to align my mind, my thoughts, to think positive. Because sometimes your head is thinking something, your mouth is saying another thing.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Thank you so much for reading for us, Stella. I would like to go to Eski. Eski, are you there? Read the second one for us, please. Steps to follow, number 2. Eski, are you there?
All right. Greetings
Fantastic.
to everyone.
Good evening.
I am there. The second steps to follow, it says, choose positive relationship over the negative ones. Think about people that you spend a lot of time with. Are you there? Are their attitude primarily positive or negative? Attitude is contagious, so you should spend as much time as possible with people who choose to think positively. Their willingness to see the good in a situation will encourage you to make the same choice. If your circumstances don't allow you to completely avoid negative people, then seek out positive people and spend time with them to counteract negative influence in your life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eski, for reading for us. Thank you so much. I know you are 1 hour ahead of us in Nigeria from South Africa. Thank you very much. Wow, what? A question when we're doing this, when we read this in one of our circles, somebody asked the question. You're saying that we should try and avoid negative people and seek positive people. What if the negative people are our spouse, our family, our parents? What do we do? All right, Janet, I would like you to read the third one for us. It was a very interesting debate, but yeah, we have to go around it somehow if you want the peace of mind, All right, Janet, please read number 3 for us. Steps to follow. Janet, are you there? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
Number 3. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Number 3 says, feed your faith, starve your fears. Choosing a positive attitude is challenging at first. It's especially difficult if you haven't been filling your mind with positive input. If you've been starved of anything positive, then you need to start feeding yourself a regular diet of motivational material. Read books that encourage a positive attitude. Listen to affirming messages. The more negative you are, the longer it will take to turn your attitude around. But if you consume a steady diet of the right mental food, you can become a positive thinker.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. I'm sure that somehow you have, you have been able to say, this is me. You have been able to say this evening, this is me. Kai, I need to work on this. I need to work on this. I need this. I need to change my attitude. I need to see how I look at things. Sometimes some of us are so proactive. We are so what do you say? We react instead of responding to situation. One of our friends shared with us, I think that was on Thursday class, that it was her birthday, the previous day was her birthday. And so somehow they sent her out of the house. She didn't know they were preparing a surprise. So when they sent her out of there, she was so angry. She was just, really mad with everyone. And when she got home, she said when she gets home, she was going to give her husband the peace of her mind and everything. She was so angry. And at the end of the day, she just felt bad about the whole day. Only for her to get home, she met a surprise. Oh my God, she had to start kneeling down to beg the husband not to be angry that she didn't know, but she said if she had known, she would have just taken it like, okay, since people don't want me in the house, let me go and have fun, let me buy myself an ice cream, she would have done something else, other than giving it to everybody. And when a woman gives it to you, you know what that means, huh? She gives you the peace of her mind. So, but she was able to. She said that day that from now on she will do things differently. All right. So let's come to this area, which is our self-assessment. What will you rate yourself? How will you rate yourself? After going through hearing John Maxwell talk, after going through steps to take, how will you rate yourself? From 1 to 10, a scale of 1 to 10, go to the chat box and tell me. I want to sit on the chat. How will you rate yourself? How will you rate yourself? Go to the chat box and tell me, why are you giving yourself this rating? Why are you giving yourself this rating? How will you rate yourself and why are you giving yourself that rating? If you give yourself a 2, tell me why. If you give yourself a 6, tell me why you're giving yourself a 6. All right? And then I really want to know, what do you think you would benefit if you improve your rating? So let's do these 2 at once. The first 2, how well will you say you have demonstrated, attitude in your life? And why are you giving that rating? Please go to the chat box and text. I want to read it. All right. Please. Oh, okay. Emma, please, you will share. Don't worry. I'll give you a time to share before we leave today. All right. Quickly, let's go to the chat box. Everybody rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How will you rate yourself? And why will you give yourself that rating? Please go to the chat box quickly. Okay. Ayodele said, I rate myself a 5. Okay, Blessing, why do you rate yourself a 5? Why do you rate yourself a 5? Yes, I want to read more. Quickly, let's go. Emma said, I rate myself a 5. Why do you rate yourself a 5? Why? From everything you've heard today, why do you give yourself a 5? It's like I'm in the middle, right? 5 is like in the middle. I rate myself 5, still have to be better. Fantastic, Stella. Thank you so much. I rate yourself 5. The first time I did this, even with all the things I think I know, I rated myself a 4. Because I was really had to be very honest with myself that there were certain things that I wasn't really good at that time. All right. Other people determine my happiness. I was this kind of person that it was important to me how people think, what people say. You can just look at me one kind, I'll think it's me you're talking about too. My attitude will change. My mood will swing, so I had to give myself a 4. Yes, 8 because I have been able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Fantastic, thank you. I should know better. That's why I'm giving myself fantastic. I rate myself a 6. Why are you rating yourself a 6? Quickly. And those of you who have answered my question, what benefits would you receive if you improve your rating? I rate myself a 5 because I need to learn more and starve my fears, and I shouldn't let my fears influence. Fantastic. That is true. That is so true. That was one area, I had to work on too. Increase my faith and stop my fears. If I had that kind of belief, honestly, what I went through the other time, I would have looked at it from another point of view. I rate myself a 5 because I need to. Okay, I rate myself a 7 because I always think through before reacting to issues, and I believe that there is a positivity in everything that happens, even the bad ones. I still believe I can do better. Thank you very much, Abiola, for that. As MM said, I rate myself a 9. I have a lot of role models who have inspired and motivated me. Also, I've also invested in my personal growth. 9 is high. That means, yeah. If I ask you to improve your rating, you'll be 10, and that will be perfection. That's a high one. Oh. Okay, let's go on. Now, what do you do? I have a continuous learning process. Thank you, George. Fantastic. All right, so what benefits would you receive by improving your rating? What benefit? Because I know a little about positive thinking, seeing things and saying things in a better way, even when it seems down. Fantastic, thank you. All right, so yes, let's go on. Okay, I rate myself 5 because experience have passed me through life, and that has helped me too. It is my hope that this training will fill the gap for me. I hope you're here and you will fill those gaps yourself. I will be happier for myself and be more resilient. I thank you. Thank you very much. That's amazing. Many of us, either our happiness is in our husband. You can imagine your husband hurting you, or you hurting your wife, or your wife hurting you, and then you don't react. The woman will be afraid. The man will be afraid. See what's going on. I thought I was trying to make you angry, and you just refuse to be angry. In fact, you're not even sorry for her or for him. I'm like, you know what? Don't worry, you'll be fine. The man will look at you, and you will look at you. What is going on? All right. I believe that this will help me to take life in a positive note, no matter what happens. I would see the cup, half full instead of half empty. Thank you very much. Let's keep it coming. Thank you so much for all those sharing. So before we go, I'm going to give all this. You're going to take this home as an assignment. What specific action you're going to take? Because if I want to take from everybody now, will take a lot more time. So what specific action will you take immediately to improve your rating? Someone's one shared to us that she's going to change her attitude towards her staff. Another person said he was going to change his attitude towards his members in unit. He's the head of his unit in church. He was going to change his authoritarian attitude and be more friendly, more understanding, you know, he's going to change so that his people will look at him, you know, from another light of view. There are many of us who are leaders, you know, taking positions. People just want to, they just respect and obey us because we are the leaders, because we are the parents, because we are the spouse. Left with them, they don't want to have anything to do with you. All right. So if you're in a position, find out, how do your staff see you? How do your unit members see you? How do your children see you? There's one question John Maxwell asked, and that is, he said, you know, about his father, when he looked at his father and said, I want to be like my dad. Will your children want to be like you? You know, your spouse, will you want your children to marry somebody like you? Would you be proud, you know, to say, tell others to be like you? So these are some of the questions we ask ourselves when we look at our attitude. You know, if you're not here today, what will people say about you? I remember the time Abacha died, there was a lot of jubilation on the streets of Nigeria. People were happy. People were thanking God. How can someone die and people are praising God? You know, so it's all about our attitude, you know, but I hope that when we come next, Tuesday or Thursday, you'll be sharing with me one action that you have promised yourself tonight that you're going to take. And I want you to write it down so you can remember to take that action. All right? Yeah, so I'm going to post this question, this whole thing into our class. So please, just a few of you have submitted your assignment. And I hope that those of you here, if you're on Tuesday, you should be able to give me your assignment by the end of Monday, so that Tuesday afternoon, we will be sharing. All right? So I'll just give the floor to 2 persons who would like to share with us before we leave tonight. Maybe you want to say something quickly. So I would like to give the floor to 2 persons. Who will those 2 persons be? It has to be among those who have not spoken today. All right. So quickly, who would like to say something before we go? Maybe something that just resonated with you. And you would like to say, look, this week I want to go and practice this. I want to go and do this. I need somebody I need to go and talk to and apologize. All right. Who wants to speak? Please go ahead. Who would like to speak, please? Quickly. Janet, you want to speak? Who wants to speak, please? Just raise your hand. All right, Janet, please go ahead. You want to speak? Okay. Okay. I don't know what that hand means, whether it's a yes or no.
Yes, it's a yes.
Go ahead.
A yes. I was actually looking for where to raise my hand.
Okay.
On the system, yes. I am so happy and glad, Ma. Thank you so much for this opportunity of learning. I've learned so much on attitude, positive thinking, okay, seeing things the positive way. Actually, especially in my place of work, I cannot wait to get back to work, though I'm on leave. But immediately I get back to work, I'm going to practice this positive attitude. Okay, my colleagues in the office, I'm the kind of person that, you know, I see when people behave the way they behave, I see negative. I try to make out negativity out of their attitude towards me, and it's affecting my relationship with them in the office. But based on what I've gone through and learned this evening, which I'm so happy about, I am going to see things positively in everything in the office, the way things go, you know, at the office environment. And I believe God that it's going to pay me well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Amen. I believe too. Thank you so much. I'm super excited that you're going to be putting this. And your class is it Tuesday or what day is your class?
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday.
Okay.
It's Tuesday.
Okay.
It's
all
Tuesday.
Right. So I'll see you on Tuesday, and I'll see between today and Tuesday how far you were able to do that, even when it is not resumption time. Thank you very much for sharing. Please let's show Janet some love. Thank you. It's not easy to be vulnerable, but thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. Who else want to share? One more so that we leave now. One more person who would like to share. Okay, thank you, SK. Please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, I also want to use this opportunity to just appreciate the wonderful work that you're doing. Yeah, to offer a platform whereby people can gain knowledge. That is really, really great. My what I want to share actually is point number 3, whereby it says feed your faith and starve your fear. Yeah, to be honest, many of us, we do desire, and that desire is out of something that actually motivates you, that you can achieve something. If you can't desire, it means that you are dead. So, and faith will help you to accomplish your desire. So many of us, we do really desire to achieve in life, whether to be successful, to be great business or entrepreneurs. Those things we do desire. But when you look into the field, that there is lots of circumstances that maybe they do weaken your faith. So with this point, it really encouraged me that there is nothing that is impossible if I can starve the fear, because many people who fails are those who are more based onto the fear, what the fear says. But those who are achieving much are those who are like committed and listening more to what the faith, which is a positive mind, that tells you that actually you can do better, you can achieve, you can reach your goal. So for that point, actually, I'm really, really motivated. I really appreciate for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So go there when the fear comes, take faith and, over. So when the fear comes, then you take the card of faith and show it. Look, you cannot intimidate me. I know my right now. I'll portray the right attitude. And I pray that God will help every one of us as we go through these seasons of our lives. It's the beginning of the year. The right attitude will help you set the right goals. There are some things we have put on our goals that are really not important. All you need is just to have the right attitude. Imagine you praying about a staff in the office. This staff is giving me problem. Lord, deal with it. You just need the right attitude. You just need the right attitude. Even your own child. You say, this child is a stubborn child. I can't deal. Look, there's an attitude you will put. That child will succumb. That's a lesson for another day. You pay me to teach you that one. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm super happy to be here. So I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday precisely, and those that are on Thursday. So we're going to be doing value 2, which is the value of personal growth. Prepare yourself for that one, because is a stage that will influence and affect your life for the rest of this year. My name is Muti Olori. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you again next week, Tuesday, 12:30, and make sure you come with an open mind. Thank you very much. We can unmute ourselves and